Welcome to Record Time. Record Time is a weekly Akashic experience where we explore simple and mysterious questions through the lens of the Akashic Records. I am so happy to be here, and I'm happy that you're here with me. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is truly one of my favorite parts of the week. So I'm so happy to be here. Today's topic is an interesting one, but before we dive into that, I would like to give some context. So the last few days I've had an unusual experience. I don't know why I'm laughing so much. There's like so much energy. I guess it's just coming out and like laughter. The last few days I have experienced something I've never experienced before, which is sustained contentment. And that sounds weird, but I realized this morning. It just suddenly occurred to me, like, the last 3 days I have not wavered from the state of feeling content. So in the last 3 days, nothing has upset me, nothing has triggered me, I haven't felt angry, I haven't lashed out at anyone, in my immediate circle. I've just been content. And when I realized that, it freaked me out. And it was a little hard to believe, too. I was like, that cannot possibly be correct. And I thought about it, and I was like trying to think over the last 3 days. I was like, certainly something has, upset you in some capacity. And I really couldn't think of anything. And hello, so nice to have you here. How are you, my dear? So, I was saying in the last 3 days, I've felt sustainably content. And it's just like, it was jarring to realize that. And once I realized that I had been feeling contentment for 3 days straight, it kind of started to freak out and panic. And so the question I'd love to dive into today is, why does contentment feel uncomfortable? Why does it feel weird? Why did it feel uncomfortable and almost jarring? So that's what I'm going to ask the masters, teachers, and loved ones today. And as I tune into that question, feel free, if it's safe and accessible, to take a deep breath and to arrive here and now, and to come into a receptive state. And if it is safe to close your eyes, you can do that. The mind does not like to be idle, and when you're content, that means you're not worrying about anything, and so there's nothing for the mind to do. There's no problems at hand when you're experiencing a state of contentment. And so that, upon that realization, when the mind, gets wind or hears that you're experiencing contentment, it immediately just panics. And it feels really uncomfortable because the mind doesn't like to just be sitting there. And what the mind might do is start to worry about the state of contentment and might begin to wonder, I'm content right now, but will this last? I'm content right now, but what's going to go wrong? And it'll begin to worry about losing the state of contentment, which is an interesting little conundrum to be brought out of the state of contentment for fear of losing the state of contentment. The fear of losing touch with the feeling and experience of contentment is what will draw you out of that experience. It's one of the things that can draw you out of it. And so that's like, a conundrum of sorts. To feel content and then to realize it, and then to immediately start worrying about the moment that the contentment will go away. So, it's kind of a weird situation. It's like, what are we to do with that? When the mind begins to worry about the fleeting nature of contentment, what do we do? They're saying this is where your awareness comes into play. And they're saying it's interesting because contentment exists right here. It only exists in the deep present. And as soon as you leave the present moment, when your mind begins to worry about the moment that you'll lose your contentment, you're no longer in the present. You've left the present moment. And so contentment can't be with you when you're not in the present moment. And so they're showing it like a cat and mouse game. It's like the mind, so contentment is here where your awareness is. When you're aware, deeply aware of the present, you can achieve or experience contentment. And when the mind realizes that you're in the present, feeling content, it'll immediately jump to the future and worry about losing it, which will take you out of the present. And then your awareness is what will catch the mind and pull you back into the present. So, and this is something that we all experience, whether we realize it or not. It's those moments when you do experience your own awareness, when you do come into the present. We've all felt that. And then we've also felt, being dragged away by the mind into a different moment. And, an experience where this, like, jumping back and forth between the non-present and the present, whether it's future or past and the present, that happens all the time in meditation. That's like what meditation is. That is like the whole experience of meditation, is like your intention is to be present and to be with your awareness. And then inevitably the mind will wander, and then you notice it, and then you come back. And so it's such an interesting little game that we play. And so they're saying, what's the point of all this? It's like, there's meditation, there's contentment. So they're saying contentment exists in the present moment. And when we experience sustained contentment, which is like a very beautiful, sweet little intention, that's like, who wouldn't want to experience sustained contentment, to just feel content and like quietly happy for an extended amount of time? That's what I seek. That's what I've been seeking for a really long time, and yet experiencing it freaked me out. It freaked out my mind. So they're saying that the thing to think about is this, and I can like feel like how like the mind fuckery of all of this, like it's such a weird like thing confusing to think about. It's like such a perfect loop. It's like almost like confusing to like even receive this message. So I apologize if this is confusing. But they're saying when you experience contentment, you can experience contentment by being present. To be present requires awareness. And then when you get drawn out of it, you need your awareness to pull you back into the present to experience the contentment again. So really what's required to experience contentment and to pull yourself into contentment when you're out of contentment is awareness. And how do you build your awareness? It's through your daily practice. So when you meditate, what we're doing when we meditate is building our awareness. That idea of witnessing what's happening instead of experiencing what's happening is what we're doing when we meditate. And so the more that you practice being the witness and strengthening your awareness in your meditation, the better you'll be at doing that when you're out of meditation. And that's the whole point. The point of meditation isn't to just feel good for the 20 minutes or 15 minutes or 5 minutes that you meditate. This is how meditation helps us in the long term and in our actual lives. It's building the awareness to experience greater contentment and to be faster at catching the mind when it wanders out of the present moment. Because contentment only exists right here and right now. I think that was the whole message. I'm going to ask if there's anything else that they want to add to that. Did that make sense? I have no idea if that made sense. It felt very confusing to relay that message. So if you have any questions or would like that to be explained in a different way, please do let me know, and I'd be happy to make another video or to write a blog post about that. And hopefully that will give this whole topic of contentment and awareness and the discomfort of contentment, hopefully that'll shed more clarity on this, because that felt a little confusing to me. But I do hope that made sense. I'd love to hear from you. And I'd also love to know what your daily practice is. Do you have a daily practice? How do you cultivate your own awareness? I would love to know. I do that through meditation, but if you have a different way of doing that, I would love to hear from you. So please do send me a message or connect with me on my website, minaruchi.com.